All right, strap yourselves in, because today we are going deep into Odalin.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, it's a board game, and it looks like it's got some seriously cool stuff going on. And listeners have been asking about this one for a while.
Yeah, I've seen the buzz.
Yeah, so we've got the rulebook right here.
Great.
Odalin V6 spreads.pdf.
Okay.
So we're just going to jump right in and see what this is all about.
Sounds good.
So Odalin,
Yeah.
it's a land overrun by demons.
Rip.
Like a full-on demonic invasion.
Yep.
Humanity's on its last legs.
Sounds dire.
Oh, it is, but there's a twist.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
To fight back, you gotta make a pact with a demon.
Whoa!
Yep, you heard that right.
Fighting fire with fire, huh?
Except the fire is, a demon lord.
Makes sense in this context, I guess.
Right, so you're not just fighting demons out there in the world, you're also managing this pact, this internal struggle.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and that's where those soul and corruption tracks come in.
Ah, yeah, I saw those in the rulebook.
So, corruption, that gives you power, right?
It's like tapping into that demonic energy.
Exactly, but too much, and you lose control.
Oh.
You become the very thing you're fighting against.
That's a tough choice.
It is, and that's where the soul track helps you kind of manage that transformation.
So it's all about balance.
It is a constant balancing act.
I like that.
Yeah, it's not just hack and slash. You really got to think about your actions.
Makes it more strategic.
Exactly, and it's not just about those tracks, right?
Right.
Even your attacks, the rulebook calls them action cards. They feed into this whole chaos versus order thing.
Okay, so every decision matters.
Every single one. So you have these two types of cards, basically,
Right.
Hero cards, they're more like order aligned.
Right, the classic hero stuff.
Yeah, and then you have the demon cards, much more chaotic.
Ooh, tempting.
Very tempting, but every time you use one, it affects that internal struggle.
I see, so you're always wrestling with that duality.
You are, and it's not just the cards. There's this balance track that everyone keeps talking about.
Yeah, I was wondering about that one.
It's this constant tug of war between chaos and order. And you actually manipulate this track.
You do.
Yeah, and as you move it, you generate these soul points.
Okay.
Which you need, to transform into your demonic form.
So there's a way to actually, go full demon.
Oh yeah, there's a whole mechanic for it.
Nice.
But if you go too far in either direction, too much chaos or too much order, you trigger these events and they're not good.
Oh boy, so you got to stay right in the middle.
Pretty much, well, not always in the middle.
Right. Got to be strategic about it.
Exactly. High risk, high reward, right?
I could see that.
So how does this transformation actually work? I gotta ask.
Yeah, good question.
What happens when you, unleash the demon?
Well, you don't just sprout wings and horns.
Oh, that's a shame.
Though you do get a cool miniature.
Okay, I'll take it.
But it's more than just visual. You get passive bonuses, an aura that affects others.
So, my enemies get weaker or something.
It could be, or your allies get stronger.
Interesting.
And then you get a special ability, a one-time use.
Powerful stuff.
Very powerful. But here's the catch.
Yeah, there's always a catch.
If your corruption goes over its limit while you're transformed,
you lose control.
You got it.
Man, that is intense.
It's a gamble.
It is. Do you push your luck or play it safe?
Yeah. Could be the difference between winning and, losing yourself.
Heavy stuff, but I love it.
It adds a layer of tension to every decision.
It does. Now, the rulebook also mentions this hack and slash mode.
Right, for when you just want to, get down to business.
Yeah, pure combat. So what's that all about?
Well, in this mode, you ditch the balance track.
No more chaos and order?
Nope. Instead, you have this power track.
Interesting.
And you charge it up by defeating enemies with attacks of the opposite alignment.
So if I'm playing a righteous hero, I get bonuses for slaying those chaotic demons?
Exactly. It rewards players for understanding those alignments.
That's pretty cool.
It's a different kind of challenge.
Yeah, but still very strategic.
It is. You got to plan your attacks carefully.
Okay, let's rewind a bit. Back to the basics.
Sure.
The heroes themselves.
Yeah. What makes them tick?
Well, the rulebook has this whole section on them.
Right. They're not just generic warriors.
No, they're not. Each one has, their own tile with their abilities, stats, even what equipment they can use.
Makes sense.
And the stats, it's not just the standard stuff.
Like strength and, dexterity?
You got your might and resilience, yeah, but then there's mind for magic.
Oh, so there's spellcasting involved.
It looks like it, and then there's spirit.
Interesting.
Yeah, which ties into your connection with the demon, right?
So how easily you can tap into that power?
Exactly. So it's not just about being the strongest.
Nope. You can be a cunning mage or a spiritual rogue.
And they each approach the demon pact differently.
Ah, that adds depth.
It does, and it ties back to those action cards.
How so?
A high-spirit hero might use more demon cards, fuel their abilities.
While a might-focused hero sticks to the hero cards.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so you're not just picking a character.
Yep.
You're choosing a play style.
You are, which I like.
Options are good.
They are. So what about gear? I'm all about the loot.
Yes, the bling.
Gotta deck out my hero, right?
Of course. And Odalin delivers.
Let's hear it.
They have a whole section in the rulebook, equipment and consumables.
Hit me with it.
We're talking weapons, armor, obviously,
right.
potions, artifacts, the whole 9 yards.
Sweet.
And each item has its own unique properties.
So I can have a hero with a holy sword that, like, boosts their order attacks.
Absolutely. Or a cursed dagger that amplifies their demonic powers.
Oh, now we're talking.
And don't forget those consumables.
Potions and stuff?
Yep. Temporary buffs or artifacts that can even mess with the balance track.
Wow. I can already see the strategies forming.
It's a tactical playground.
It is. But before we get too lost in the weeds, let's talk about the villains.
The baddies.
The ones we're actually fighting. So who are they?
Well, this is where Odalin's world building really shines.
Okay, how?
You're not fighting generic monsters. Each villain type has its own card.
Oh, okay.
With backstory, attack patterns, even an alignment.
Wait, so they're tied into the whole chaos versus order thing, too?
Absolutely. They're not just mindless beasts.
So defeating a chaos-aligned villain pushes the balance track towards chaos.
Exactly. And killing an order-aligned one does the opposite.
So it's not just who I kill, it's what it means for the bigger picture.
It's a constant consideration, which I love.
Me too. Adds a whole other layer of strategy.
It does. Do you prioritize the most dangerous enemy or manipulate the track?
Right. Tough choices.
Always tough choices in Odalin.
Okay, so how do they actually fight the villains?
Well, it's not dice rolling.
Oh.
It's card-based combat.
Card-based, like each villain has its own deck.
Yep, attack cards, they call them.
So different effects, damage values, all that.
All that and more.
Like what?
Well, they have target preferences.
Target preferences.
Yeah, so some villains might go after the weakest hero.
Okay.
While others focus on the one with the most for corruption.
That's interesting.
It is. Makes it unpredictable.
I like that. Can't just focus on hitting the hardest.
You got to think about who you're targeting.
Like a demonic poker face.
Right, trying to outsmart your opponent.
Oh, I love that. Mind games.
Oh, yeah. And then there's unholy enrage.
Uh-oh. That sounds bad.
It is. Basically, these villains can get even deadlier.
So they level up or something?
In a way, yeah. It's a mechanic that ramps up the tension.
So it's not just surviving the first round. Gotta think long term.
Exactly. Odalin keeps you on your toes.
This is turning into a real nail-biter.
It is, but it's a good kind of stress.
Yeah, the good kind. But what about when things go wrong?
You mean when your hero gets knocked down?
Yeah, is it game over?
Not necessarily.
Okay, good.
Odalin doesn't punish you with instant defeat.
Right.
You're out of commission for that encounter.
Right.
But you come back with a sliver of health once the enemies are defeated.
So like a tactical retreat.
Exactly. Not a complete deceit.
Thank goodness.
But, of course, if all the heroes fall...
Yeah, then it's over.
You got to regroup and try again.
All right, so high stakes, but room for error.
That's a good balance.
It is, but we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's so much more to uncover.
I'm dying to know more about this campaign mode.
Oh, that's where things get really interesting.
Well, let's dive in.
Let's do it. Yeah, the campaign mode, that's where Odalin really comes alive.
Okay, color me intrigued.
It's not just dungeon crawling.
No.
It weaves it all into a bigger story.
Oh, so like your choices actually matter.
They do big time.
Okay, I'm listening. So how does this campaign thing work?
Well, the rulebook breaks it down into 2 phases.
All right.
The journey phase and the dungeon phase.
So like prepare and then fight.
Kind of, but it's more nuanced than that.
Okay, give me the details.
So the journey phase,
Yeah.
it's about moving the story forward.
Hmm.
You interact with NPCs.
Non-player characters.
Exactly. Gather information, make decisions.
Wow, so I get to roleplay a bit.
You do, and these choices, they have real consequences.
Like what?
They can unlock new locations, affect relationships,
Ooh, interesting.
even change the layout of the dungeons.
No way. So it's different every time.
It can be, yeah, depending on your choices.
So I'm not just following a set path.
Nope. You have agency.
I like that. But are there, like, wrong choices?
Some paths are definitely more perilous.
Okay. Gotta be careful in.
And your choices affect your hero's, inner struggle.
Right, the whole corruption thing.
Exactly. You could end up making deals with shady characters.
Ooh, tempting.
It is. but it might fuel your demonic side.
Man, that's a tough one. Gotta weigh the risks and rewards.
Always. That's what makes the campaign mode so compelling.
It's like a moral dilemma on top of everything else.
Exactly. It's not just about winning.
It's about the journey.
And the sacrifices you make along the way.
This is getting deep. Okay, so journey phase, we make our choices.
Yep. And then
Dungeon time.
dungeon time, that's where the action is.
All right, so what are these dungeons like?
Think interconnected rooms, each one a tile.
Okay.
The campaign book kind of guides you.
Right.
But even that can change based on your earlier choices.
Wow, it's all connected?
It is. Some rooms are just straight up fights.
Okay.
Others have puzzles, traps, even ways to interact with the environment.
So it's not just moving and fighting.
Nope, lots of variety.
I like that. Keeps things fresh.
And then there are these random tokens.
What are those?
You draw them and place them face down.
Ooh, like a surprise.
Exactly. Could be good or bad.
Like what?
Shrines, treasure chests, those are good.
Okay, and the bad?
Traps, cursed artifacts, that kind of thing.
Ooh, spooky.
Keep you on your toes.
It does, but you also mentioned quests.
Oh, yeah. Those are optional objectives.
So I don't have to do them.
Not necessarily, but they add a lot to the game.
Like what?
Well, they can be simple. Find an artifact, defeat a certain enemy,
Okay.
or more complex multi-step things.
Ooh, sounds challenging.
They can be, yeah, and they will often tie into this story.
So it's like world building.
Exactly. You learn more about the world, the conflict.
I'm really getting a sense of the depth here.
It's more than just a dungeon crawl.
It's a whole adventure.
It is, but remember,
Yeah.
you still got to manage your resources.
Right. Gear, healing, all that.
And, of course, the balance between your hero and demon sides.
Right. Back to that internal struggle.
It's always there, lurking in the background.
Now, the rulebook mentioned campfire locations.
Ah, yes. Those are important.
What happens there?
Well, think of them as safe havens.
Okay.
You can rest, heal, prepare for the next challenge.
So like a breather.
Exactly. But that's not all.
There's more.
You can upgrade your action cards at campfires.
No way. So my attacks get stronger.
They do, and it's not just simple stat boosts.
Oh.
Some upgraded cards have a flip cost. You need certain stats to unlock their full potential.
So it's like I have to plan my hero's development.
Exactly. Do you focus on might or spirit?
Right. Got to make those choices.
It's all connected.
It is. I'm seeing that now.
From the journey phase, to the dungeons, to your hero's growth.
And the demon pact. Can't forget that.
It's always there, influencing everything.
This is amazing, but the rulebook also mentioned cohorts.
Yes, those are NPCs.
But they're special.
They are. Think of them as powerful allies or enemies.
Okay, so they can help or hinder me.
Exactly. They have their own agendas.
So it's like relationship building.
It is, but with high stakes.
Right, because they can really mess things up.
They can. Got to choose your allies carefully.
This is getting intense, but what about boss battles?
Yeah, those are epic.
I bet. So what are they like?
These aren't just tough villains.
Yo.
They're unique entities with backstories, motivations,
Okay.
and terrifying abilities.
I'm picturing a giant demon lord.
Probably not far off.
Multiple attacks, summoning minions, the works.
The rulebook hints at some truly crazy encounters.
This is awesome.
It is. Strategy and teamwork are key.
And I bet the rewards are amazing.
Oh, yeah. Legendary equipment.
That's what I'm talking about.
But, of course, there's a price.
There's always a price.
Wielding that power might require sacrifices.
Oh boy. Tough choices again.
Always tough choices, but that's Odalin.
It's not just about getting the best gear.
It's about the consequences.
Right, making choices that fit your path.
Exactly. It's about the journey, not just the destination.
And speaking of journeys, the campaign mode keeps going.
It does. It's not just one dungeon crawl.
So my choices carry over to the next session.
They do. It's a persistent world.
This is blowing my mind. It's like a living world.
It is. Odalin doesn't let you forget the big picture.
Wow, I love the scope of it, but let's zoom in a bit.
Okay,
There are some smaller details I'm curious about.
let's hear them.
Okay, so what about this heroic effort thing I saw?
Ah, yeah, that's a neat mechanic.
What is it exactly?
Basically, you can bend the rules a little.
Bend the rules, huh?
How you discard a card
Okay.
and pay 1 HP.
Ouch! HP, that's valuable.
It is. But it lets you do one of 3 things.
Hit me.
You can prevent corruption gain,
Oh, that's useful.
or boost your movement,
Okay.
or ignore the extra cost of messing with the balance track.
So it's like a clutch move.
Yeah, like a burst of energy when you need it most.
But spending HP to avoid corruption, that's tricky.
It is. Gotta be strategic.
When would you actually use it?
Well, imagine this.
Yeah.
You're about to play a powerful demon card,
Okay.
but you're close to losing control.
Right. Too much corruption.
Exactly. Heroic effort could save you there.
So you can go all out without, like, becoming a demon.
Pretty much. Or maybe you need to reach an objective quickly.
Escape a trap or something.
Exactly. Heroic effort could be the difference.
Okay, I'm seeing the value. It's like a calculated risk.
It is. High risk, high reward.
Love it. What else jumped out at you from the rulebook?
Well, the action cards, they're more than just, basic attacks.
Yeah, we talked about how they tie into the chaos and order stuff.
Right, but they also have specific, shapes.
Shapes.
Yeah, for area of effect attacks.
Oh, so it's not just a circle.
Nope. Some are lines, cones, even squares.
So positioning matters.
Big time. You got to line up your attacks.
Hit multiple enemies. Avoid hitting your allies.
Exactly. It's tactical.
I love that, like a puzzle almost.
It is, and the rulebook has all these cool examples.
Like what?
Well, there's this push effect.
Push.
Yeah. You can shove an enemy into a hazard.
Oh, that's clever.
Or pull them closer.
Maybe into a trap.
You got it. It's about controlling the space.
Man, I'm already thinking of combos, push an enemy into my ally's line of fire.
Exactly. And the rulebook breaks down all these effects.
It does.
Yeah, clear explanations, examples.
That's good, because tabletop rulebooks can be, well, confusing.
They can be, but Odalin's is surprisingly clear.
That's a relief.
It is. They really put a lot of thought into it.
Makes it easier to learn.
Definitely. And there are all these little details sprinkled throughout.
Okay, give me an example.
Did you know that ranged heroes, if they kill a villain from exactly 5 squares away,
Yeah.
they get bonus soul or corruption points?
Really? That's
Yep.
so specific.
It is, but it's those little things that make Odalin special.
It's like a hidden layer of strategy.
Exactly. Always something new to discover.
I like that. Keeps things interesting.
And the rulebook is there to guide you.
Like a helpful friend.
Exactly. Pointing out those little nuances.
Okay, I'm sold. Gotta try this game.
You should. It's a blast.
What stood out to you the most?
It's the combination,
Of what?
Classic dungeon crawling, but with this whole demon pact thing.
Right, it's not just about fighting.
It's about managing those inner demons
Making tough choices.
that affect the story and the gameplay.
It's like a morality tale, but with dice rolling.
I like that description.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
And immerse yourself in the world.
It does. When we started this deep dive, I was intrigued, but now I'm like, I gotta play this.
I know, right? It's more than just a game.
It's an experience.
And every experience is different,
Yeah, different choices, different paths.
Different struggles with your demon.
So, what are you waiting for, listeners?
So make a pact. Become a hero.
But be careful, the road to victory is a tricky one.
Full of tough choices, tempting compromises.
That's what makes it so good.
It does. It really does.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Odalin.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, may your dice rolls be ever in your favor.